In today's video, we take you on a road trip across the country through 11 states, 4 major cities, 3 state high points, and more, all with our dog, Brady. So come along with us on this trip and make sure to stick around till the end so you don't miss anything. Enjoy! On the first day of the trip, we left Oklahoma City and made the roughly 8-hour drive to Missouri. The portion after leaving Interstate 44 around Springfield was a beautiful drive through the Ozarks. So after enjoying the hilly Ozark scenery, we finally arrived at our first destination, Taum Sauk Mountain State Park. On day 2, we woke up before sunrise and made our way to the trailhead. It only takes a short walk to get to the highest point in the state of Missouri, so with our first high point out of the way, we decided to continue on the Minnesauk Falls Trail. The trail was pretty muddy in some areas, but it didn't bother us at all. The trail passes through some beautiful meadows and some beautiful viewpoints. And since we were just getting to spring, some of the flowers were starting to bloom, which was really nice. From that point on, we had a short rock scramble down to the base of the highest waterfall in Missouri. Look at her in it. And one more thing is that this trail merges with part of the Ozark Trail, a longer backpacking trail. And once we had completed the trail, we got in the car and got ready to head to our next destination. Our next state of the trip was Ohio. While we didn't stop to see many attractions, we did stay at this beautiful Airbnb on a farm in South Charleston. This was one of our favorite stays of the trip, and we will definitely link this Airbnb in the description of this video. After leaving the Airbnb in Ohio, we made the long drive to our first big city, Philadelphia. Upon arriving in Philly, we immediately hit stop traffic, 1 hour to travel 19 miles. For dinner, we stopped at the famous Angelo's Pizzeria, where we got a cheesesteak and a pizza, and that cheesesteak was absolutely amazing, worth the hype 100%. And I did not know it at the time, but Philadelphia actually has one of those portals that gives you a live feed connecting you to cities around the world. Here is me playing rock, paper, scissors against people in Lithuania. After leaving Philadelphia, we had about a 4.5-hour drive up to Massachusetts, marking our completion of the first half of this trip. Brady finally got reunited with his cousin Cooper, and they got to spend 4 times together. In the meantime, I, by myself, went to New York. But since everyone else was up in Massachusetts, I don't have any videos from there. One place I do have videos from, however, was our next hike and next state high point of the trip, Mount Greylock. Today, we'd take the 3.7-mile Bellows Pipe Trail up to Mount Greylock. This trail was extremely muddy in some parts because of snowmelt, and there was a fallen tree across the trail that made it hard to find our way, but we finally did. Along this trail, you can see a beautiful waterfall. The Appalachian Trail also passes through here, so here is an Appalachian Trail shelter. And this is Brady putting his parkour skills to use. Once we got close to the summit, we passed through a little bit of snow that was still left on the trail before getting to enjoy the beautiful mountain views. Ladies and gentlemen, the highest point in Massachusetts. The next day, we went to Boston, but again, we didn't bring Brady with us, so we don't have any videos. After that, Brady enjoyed one last pup cup before we left Massachusetts heading towards Oklahoma. And that brings us to our next stop, Pittsburg. The Airbnb we stayed at this time was an apartment on Smithfield Street, and you could tell the managers of this property loved dogs. All of us, including Brady, very much enjoyed our stay here, and we will be linking this Airbnb in the description of the video as well. We started off the morning at Nicola's Coffee Company. There, they were kind enough to allow Brady inside and get him an amazing pup cup. After leaving Nicola's, we headed down to the riverfront. And that does it for our time in Pittsburg. Our next state of the trip was West Virginia. After driving through the beautiful mountain scenery of West Virginia, we arrived at our next stay, New River Gorge National Park. The first thing we did at the park was hike the Long Point Trail. It's early spring, school's still in session. We could not have picked a better time to hike this trail. It wasn't very crowded, and we saw just a little bit of wildlife too, and all of the trees were blooming. And once we got to Long Point, this more narrow ridge area, it gave us my favorite view of the trip. On the way back, we found this squirrel.
Brady comes.
That night, we stayed at Stone Cliff Campground. The drive getting down to this campground was a steep gravel road, but we made it safely. Then, we set up our tents on the sand by the river. After staying the night at Stone Cliff and enjoying our time at New River Gorge, we made a very long 11-hour drive to our final state, Arkansas. Our final stop of the trip would be our last state high point, Mount Magazine State Park in Arkansas. Before going to the trail, we pulled off at this beautiful overlook. To get to the Signal Hill trailhead, we parked at the lodge and made the short road walk up to the trailhead. This trail was super easy, but it was also really nice with the flowers blooming in early spring. And all of us, especially Brady, had a really fun time. And after that short trail, we finally arrived at Signal Hill, the highest point in the state of Arkansas. Here's me filling out the log to say that we've been there. After the trail, we stopped at one last overlook in the park. And finally, we made the drive back to Oklahoma, and that was the end of our trip. I'd like to thank you guys all for watching, and make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to see more.